USCJ. It's your boy Jakeem. Really appreciate what you're doing for USC culture, man. Keep going.
What's going on? Shout out USCJ, man. Appreciate the support. Shout out to USCJ. You know what it is. Nothing but love, man.
All right. Come on in. Let's talk about it, man. Happy Monday to everybody, man. We got no other than the big time, the one and only B. Shaw in the house. B. Shaw, what's the word?
Well, hold up, man. I'm pumped to be back on here, Jay. I missed you guys, man. I missed you, missed the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, likewise, man. We miss you too, man. And we're not gonna try to keep it too far, from you being out here again, man, because we know you get ready to leave or whatever, but we want to kind of keep it flowing, man. But it's a lot that's taking place since you've been gone, man. My God. And we're gonna get into it, man. I want to greet a couple of people. Hey, thank you. Hey, what's up, Half Breed? But Young Tiny, what's up, my man? Hey, Fido. And so I just kind of want to start getting into this though. As far as USC's coaching staff, it has literally been an overhaul. I think all four except, hey, Moms, how you doing? Moms be coming through. How you doing?
100%.
I just kind of want to get into it, man. Everybody except, I think, for Sean Nua, and of course, you got a couple of defensive assistants. Those guys stayed. But my God, guys that coach you are out of here, man. And salute to Coach Belk, though. He got a big-time job with the Denver Broncos. But initially, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a lot has changed. And, just real quick on the Coach Belk situation, I know he really wanted to make it happen at USC. And unfortunately, both ways decided to go their separate ways from what I heard. And Coach Belk, he landed with the Broncos, and he's excited about that. But as this USC defense as a whole, I think you got to be really excited because I think schematically moving forward, and I heard, Coach Patterson talking about this, he's going to run the 4-2-5. It's going to be kind of, he's not going to change what Coach Lynn built schematically too much. It's not going to be too crazy for the players.
I want to get into that because you probably know more than the average person because you played in that defense. Someone might say, well, B. Shaw, we just had a 4-2-5, right? So, what do you think the differences is, and what do you think he's going to implement as far as that 4-2-5?
Right, he'll definitely have his own twist to it, but I think the biggest thing when you look at Coach Patterson and the guy from Nebraska, Coach Mike, I'm blanking on his last name.
Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler. Yeah. There you go. I think it's the tone and the attitude they bring. And talking to some of the guys in the building, I know you've heard this as well, Jay. Kind of what Chad Bowden's been wanting to build is he wants to complement Coach Riley's personality with some very, not saying that Coach Riley's not an intense guy, but like a very fiery, passionate people. And I think going out and getting Coach Patterson on the defensive side of the ball and then getting Coach Eckler, those are two very, very intense guys who are going to be holding these players to a standard. So I think schematically, I don't expect it to be anything too different than what we saw because, Coach Lynn did have a good scheme going and it was on the right track. And I've seen, stuff about Coach Patterson saying it's going to be very similar with a few changes. I think it's necessarily the messaging and how Coach Patterson and Coach Eckler and kind of how they're going to want it to look. It's going to be, with that kind of aggression to them. So I think it's going to look and sound different necessarily than moving parts.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, even in relationships, they say opposites attract, and they complement one another. Sometimes when you have complete opposites, I know with my wife, I know sometimes where I slack at, where I lack, she picks up the slack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And so I totally get it, and it really makes sense. And so when you look at the coaching staff now, we got, of course, Gary. It's going to be led by Gary Patterson, but then you still got Sean Nua that's still going to be present. But then you got Paul Gonzalez. I don't know how familiar you are with him coming from Baylor. Are you familiar with Paul Gonzalez?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think the good thing with, Coach Gonzalez and Coach Patterson is they worked together for a while at TCU, from my understanding. So for Coach Patterson, if you went and, Jay, if you went to go be the defensive coordinator at a school, you're going to want some guys that you have great relationships with and familiarity with. So it just helps, everything be on the same page. So I think that is big in terms of having two guys who are really familiar with each other and, Gonzalez is going to know exactly what Coach Patterson is looking for in his secondary play. And is he definitely the secondary coach? I know Coach Gonzalez, it was like kind of up in the air what exactly his role was going to be.
I think they got to list him as the is it the pass game? The
passing
coordinator? Yeah. Pass defensive coordinator. And then Sam Carter that came from Louisiana Tech. He's going to actually be the defensive back coach. Now, I don't know the breakdown. Well, he's probably going to be the safety coach. But they have a star position in that group. I don't know if you're familiar with that position, how that works.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like the nickelback. I mean, what's your understanding of that? How that works?
It's first off, the star position, and I talked about this with your guy, B. Jones, and all of them. This is the star position is a guy, and right away I think of Christian Pierce because it's a guy who can come into the box, be pretty much like a third, fourth linebacker, fill the gaps in the run game. It's a guy who, if he gets isolated out, it's kind of like the perfect star would be in the NFL example would be the Eamon Warry guy from Seattle. The guy who he can cover, and you don't have. And what's good about having a good star is you don't have to change up your personnel too much. They come out with 12, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, big boys. You can stay kind of in that because you have a guy who can come down into the box, play the run, and then if they want to go, 11 personnel, get some quick guys out there, he can also go out and cover some dudes. So when I think of a guy off the top of my head who can, be a great star, I think Christian Pierce is a guy who would do good at that position.
Right. So it wouldn't be, in your opinion, it wouldn't be more linebacker heavy size-wise. It'd be more safety size-wise, like a nickelback size-wise.
Yeah, like a strong safety type. Maybe like a Jaden Walker type could have. Eric Gentry would have been phenomenal with that. That's like the kind of perfect thing. But the best example I can kind of use is if you guys watch a lot of the NFL is that Eamon Warry from Seattle.
Okay.
Like that body type. That's what you're looking for.
So I kind of like that. And, I see a guy like Alex Graham as well, too. Are you familiar with Alex Graham?
Oh, yeah. I was getting a little stressed out because it took a little bit for him to, re-sign, as they say. But no, for him to have the freshman year that he had, getting out there, getting thrown in the fire at times. And then when you look at kind of how he progressed and how he played in the bowl game against TCU, I really expect him to take a next step and be kind of that next superstar back there in the back end for sure.
Right. So I got this title as defensive staff identity shift. So when you think of identity shift with this team now, what do you think? What do you foresee as from an identity standpoint coming into this season, man? Especially with Gary Patterson is concerned.
Yeah. So kind of with Gary, I'll give you kind of like how as a player I would feel. With Coach Lynn. I love Coach Lynn. I think Coach Lynn is as good as it gets. I think he's going to do phenomenal Penn State. I understand why he did that. But when I look at Coach Patterson as a player, I'm going to be sitting up a little bit more straight in those meeting rooms. That notebook's going to be – I'm going to be making sure I'm really locked in because I know that if I'm not locked in and I'm BSing in the meeting room, if I'm BSing, how I'm really walking around. If I'm walking around that facility looking like, a lost puppy dog or something, I know that Coach Patterson is going to be the type of guy who can really get after me. And so I think that's kind of the identity is going to be, setting the standard and holding guys accountable to the standard. And I think you're going to see that bleed down with the players on the field is when guys aren't doing their job. You're going to see players holding players accountable, and that's when you really have a good unit. And it starts with at the top with the coaches, and then the players will follow. And for what I'm hearing, we're already seeing that. I was talking to Big Mike Williams, and he was telling me that these freshmen, it's one of the more mature freshman classes.
Oh my God, we could talk about that. I've already.
Yeah, I know. Jay, whatever information I have, I'm always late to the party. You always
no. You still not that far removed, though, B. Shaw. You were just on the field, so you got the information. I probably heard some information, but man,
but they're saying these freshmen, man, are like I've heard that the team at this point now it's still a month, 2 months into the offseason, so it's just getting started, but. At this point right now, from a maturity level and taking a professional level, it's not even like Mike Williams. I was talking to about 4 or 5 players really on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line. But they were telling me that at this point now, last year, it's already light years ahead, just maturity level, which was kind of surprising because it's a really young team, but also great to hear.
Well, don't get it twisted, people that are listening. B. Shaw is not that far from removed. He just was on the field just a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
so he still got some friends. He still knows, and I call these guys super freshmen, and I think the same caliber of player. This is what I tell everybody: the same caliber of player that Jakeem Stewart and Floyd Boucard was. By the way, Jakeem Stewart, he made freshman All-American, and I think Floyd Boucard was I think he got honorable mention. Yeah. And so those two guys, I think you're going to have multiple guys like that this year, though. And maybe even more so developed in that. I don't know. I mean, because they look incredible. Like, you talk about a guy like Luke Weifel, man. I'm not taking it off the table that he won't start or at least compete for a starting spot. He just looks different. What are your thoughts on that? Am I overthinking that, or what do you think?
You're not overthinking it. Now, I always say, and part of the, I guess, concern I would have going into the season is when you put a lot of your – and then we do have guys coming back, but when you put a lot of your chips into such a young freshman class, that jump from high school to college is a big jump. I talk to guys all the time who are in the NFL, starting in the NFL, and that jump from college to the NFL wasn't as big as a jump from high school to college. But when you look at a guy like Waffle, there are a few freaks who can come in and really, really compete and perform and make big-time plays and be more than just a contributor from day one. And I expect to see that out of him. And then real quick also, Coach True, it's a full offseason with Coach True. Remember, he came in the summer last year. And, Coach Wiley did his thing, absolutely. But it's a whole new kind of vibe, whole new, type of thing. So now he's got a full year of developing these freshmen and a full year developing the guys who were with them last year. So I think physicality and mindset, it's going to be a whole different game this year, which is why I'm so confident when I start talking some trash.
Man, we're going to get into that because, I don't know, like, how you feeling. When I look at the schedule as a whole, especially the way we are, especially the way Lincoln Riley coaches at home, I feel confident, even though we got Oregon, even though we got Ohio State, we'll talk about that. But I feel like USC can absolutely. I agree with what you said on your podcast. We can kind of get on that real quick. Shout out to your podcast. You're doing both podcasts, right?
Yeah, Shaw Sports Media. Bryson Shaw on YouTube, and then I do it with my buddy Steele. He's my best friend, and
tell everybody who Steele is, so they can get a better understanding.
So Steele Chambers was a linebacker. He was a 3-year starter at Ohio State. He was my roommate at Ohio State. Then he was with the Patriots for a little bit, got released, and he was in the UFL last year. He actually led the league in tackles in the UFL, and then had some opportunities to go back up to the league, but he didn't like the fit, so he's doing it at UFL again. He's with the Louisville team, their new team, and so he's doing that. So him and I have the Shaw and Steele show together, and we're just like best friends going at it. So yeah, that's my boy Steele right there.
So I wanted him to kind of introduce you guys to who he is, because man, him and B. Shaw, they had a little conversation going on the other day. And B. Shaw, basically, you told him that, listen, USC is going to beat Ohio State at home, and you're as confident as I am, but still came back with the, no, man, it's no way that you're going to beat Ohio State. Can you talk about that conversation, man, and why you're so confident? By the way, I feel the same way as you.
Well, the thing is, and the reason I kind of got so, jumpy on Steele about it is I feel like, the West Coast – and, in particular, USC gets very overlooked and disrespected by, the rest of the Big Ten, the Midwest, and the East Coast. I grew up in Maryland. I went to Ohio State for a couple of years. So I kind of know what they're saying about USC. And I call it, the bubble mentality. Those guys, they get so stuck in their ways, and I feel like they can't always see the big picture. And when you look at USC, you can't deny – with the number one recruiting class, with the facilities, with everything they got going on, you can't deny that it is trending in the right direction. And I feel like they're gonna surprise a lot of people this year. They're right there. They're 9-3 this past year regular season. And when I look at Ohio State, great program. Obviously, think very highly of them, but they lost a lot of players. They got a offensive line who was a good offensive line but struggled in some of those bigger games. I just know how it goes when teams come to the Coliseum October. They overlooked the Trojans. It's a long travel. I'm telling you, I really think now we're a far way away. But if it's we have a good season, they have a good season. I do think Ohio State is going to stumble against us.
I'm agree. I think the same thing for Oregon. Okay, if I were to ask you though, which one do you think we're more likely to beat, Oregon or Ohio State? I feel comfortable at home, period. But I'm just asking you though.
And to be honest with you, I know it's going to sound crazy, but with me, the Oregon Oregon is more familiar with playing against us. The books kind of we've had some good battles over the past couple of years, so I feel like Oregon, which also suits us well, because I still think you change a couple plays up there in Eugene this past season, that's a totally different game. Yeah, we did not play. We played.
I think they're a huge home. Like the home advantage with them is different. When you put them on the road, remind you that last year against Wisconsin they almost lost that. The year before last, I think it was 15-14. I just think they're a different team. You come to the Coliseum, it's going to be different.
Yeah. See, it's close, but knowing Ohio State's culture and kind of how they prepare, I'm still going to pick Ohio State. But when I look at Oregon as well, the familiarity helps them, but it also helps us. Like that's really a big time, rivalry pretty much between USC and Oregon. And like you said, I trust Ohio State's culture to travel more than I trust Oregon's culture, and I think both programs have proved that.
No, that's no doubt. That's no doubt. So still came. I think was he shocked? I know you guys. He already knows how you feel about it, but he was like, man, I couldn't believe
No, he asked. What he was surprised about the most is he wasn't shocked that I picked him, but I said, now Ohio State's got a lot of great things. There's no denying that, the past however many years they've had the upper hand on pretty much every program out there. But when you look at USC and what all they have going on with the new facilities, I just went down the line. I said, if I'm a recruit, and I've been at both, Jay.
Hey, listen, everybody some people may not be familiar with B. Shaw. B. Shaw played at Ohio State for 2 years, right?
3. I played for 3.
For 3 years, and he transferred to USC. So he has a taste of both worlds. So he's giving you the real information.
Yeah, this is as real as it gets. And I wasn't the guy who was just at Ohio State. I started at Ohio State for a full season, so I know and when you get the new facilities coming in for USC. So this is what I said to him. I said, if I'm a recruit in today's day and age,
right?
Let's go down the list. I said the facilities. I've been at Ohio State, Woody Hayes Center. It's great, but with the new facilities that USC has coming in. I've seen what they got going on. The facilities are better. And then everybody thought I was talking about the stadium facilities, which, just how I'm like, no, I'm talking about the facilities we're in every single day. So I said the facilities, it's going to be USC. And then I said school, academics. Ohio State's a great school. None of this is disrespecting them, but USC is a better school.
Right.
And then where it started, the big conversation was with the market. Because I was talking about media market and just overall, market. And I said, Los Angeles is a bigger market than Columbus.
It's not even close.
Yeah. Now, he started talking about college football market, and I understand, Ohio State is a huge brand. But the reason I defend them so much is because and I call them the bubble mindset, they're treating USC like USC is the brand. USC is as big as it gets.
Right.
They're acting like USC, and I know that's how they are, and being out here and really developing a respect for USC and respect for the West Coast.
Well, let me ask you that. You say you had to develop a respect. So prior to you coming, what was your perception before you actually stepped foot on campus? How'd you view it then?
Well, I knew. Listen, USC brand has always been massive. I knew about USC, but just talking from growing up on the East Coast and then going to Ohio State, it's flashy. It's soft. They don't really care about football. They care about the girls, the money, this. They try to paint it like it's just Hollywood.
Right.
They're at SC to go to parties in Hollywood. They're not at SC to go win championships, and that drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. This is what we've been dealing with.
It's like a weight on our shoulder because it's the media bias with the SEC and ESPN and how they linked up together. And they always gave us this label, the weak Pac-12 when we were in the Pac-12. And then the Big Ten is like, we ain't gonna be able to hang in the Big Ten. We don't get into all that in a minute with Gary Patterson. So you go ahead.
Yeah. So I just like, and then coming out to SC and seeing all the work that goes into it. And really, when you walk into the, walking in around the campus, walking around the facility, I mean, you got Troy Polamalu painted on the wall. You got Ronnie Lott painted on the wall. Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart. I mean, you have all these legends, and not necessarily just offensive legends. Brian Cushing, you have defensive.
Right.
Like, this is a defensive, and Taylor Mays would always say this. Everybody knows T. Mays, and that's what drove him crazy. Is it gets looked at as kind of a flashy school, but this school and the program really is built on that defense.
No, that's real talk. People forget that, though. They forget it,
and they don't. And that's the part that now that I'm, played with them and really, really love the program, it drives me crazy that when, fans from Ohio State, fans from whatever schools try to discredit what this program has done in the past and what it's done currently and where it's going. I think it's I just think USC, and non-biased, maybe a little biased, but non-biased, I firmly believe that USC right now is the place to be. We all have been saying that, and I really do believe that.
And I'm totally agreeing with you. And I'm gonna tell you the sleeper thing out of all of this is the fact that, and you play with guys. You play with Caleb Bullock, right? Yeah, you play with you played with Caleb's last year. You see the phenomenal year that he's had at Houston Texans this past year. You look at what Jalen Smith before he got hurt this past year. We know that a couple other guys that you play with that played there for whatever reason, things just didn't gel. So it's not that we don't have the defensive guys, but it's just for whatever reason things just gel together. But we had guys on that field that are absolutely producing in the league right now. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, and then just look at the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion. Uchenna Nwosu scores a touchdown. I mean, both touchdowns in the Super Bowl were Trojans. And then you got the guy, Velus Jones. I don't know if he finished his career at USC, but he's a USC grad.
Oh, my God. I remember Velus Jones ran a kick return back for you. A punt return to kick return out of Alabama, man. That little dude, man, he was getting it.
And he's making plays. I mean, battlefield position, which is very important. He's one down on the ball. I mean, there was USC guys all over the place. And you look at Caleb, what he did with the Bears, Kalen Bullock, Pro Bowler. I mean, and it's only, getting the talent. And then that's another thing. They're like, well, if you want to go to the NFL, you go here. You don't go. I'm
that's
like, what
so
are
crazy.
You talking about? I'm like,
we got 7 players invited to the combine right now this year.
7 players this past year. And when you look at the NFL draft picks, we're right up. We're right there. If not number one, we're right there.
I think they're number. They was number 1. I think they may be number 2. I hate to say it. I think Notre Dame may be number 1 right now.
Oh God.
But I think USC is number 2 though. But we had 4 players in the Super Bowl. So I mean, you had Brandon Peely as well. He was there. Leonard Williams.
And he's a piece of that stop and run inside big boy. I mean, it's like you said. It's just USC is the place to be, and it's great. And USC's got really good, and this is totally separate from the Ohio State conversation, but the guys who come out of USC are all great players or people off the field as well. Like USC's is a really good special. It's a brotherhood. It really is.
Yeah, man. So I agree with you on that conversation, man. Tell Steele is still watching this, man. USCJ and B Shaw up 1,000. Still got 5 points, man. You got to get your game up, big dog.
Oh yeah, no, 1,000%. And he's like, look, I won the debate. I don't want the debate. I'm like, Steele, you're the one that posted. Of course, all the fans picked it up over there. I'm like, come on now.
Right. So when we look at this Gary Patterson defense, man, expectations as far as the pressure that they're going to apply on defense, man. Like, what do you foresee as far as that? And you can reflect back, I guess, to TCU defense if you want, but what do you think that's going to translate on the field to?
Yeah, in terms of kind of expectations and pressure, it's a big year. I mean, it's a big year, and Gary Patterson. The good thing about Gary Patterson is he was a head coach for 23, 25 years at TCU. So he gets it. Even though, and I've seen a lot of people concerned because he hasn't been directly calling plays or directly in the spotlight the last couple of years. But when you're a head coach for 23, 25 years, and and I didn't know this, but he had the number one defense, I think, 5 years at TCU and went on a stretch of 3 years in a row in the number one defense. That is like unheard of to have the number one defense 3 years in a row at a school like TCU, which is no disrespect to them. But the pressure is on. It's not – you don't have time for this is the first year. This is the first year. Like there's no excuses. It's got to show up. You have good players coming back.
Wait. So you said no excuses. Are you saying the two B words?
What do you mean?
Boom or bust?
I'm
gonna be honest with you. I said it. I did a video. I said this is because you got the number one class.
Yeah.
Because you go out and get Gary Patterson. I think this is Lincoln Riley's 5th year. I just feel like we got to get to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's like I said, the only reason now I just said no excuses, but I am going to make an excuse. That jump from high school to college is something crazy.
Right.
But with that being said, when you look at the guys coming back on both sides of the ball, the whole offense line is coming back, correct?
Right. Yeah, most of those guys are coming back.
Miles coming back. I know we lost Lemon, but you got stud receiver Tanook Hines. I mean, look what he did in the bowl game. I mean, and that guy's look what he did all year long. That guy's the next, superstar. You got the running backs, Jordan and King Miller.
Oh my, that may be the two best running back combo in the country.
That duo is going to be crazy. I know, and then on the defense side of the ball, the defensive line I think is going to be excellent. You got Jade. I think Jade, we kind of saw it at times last year. I really, really think Jade is going to have a phenomenal season. And every time I go to USC, I'm still out here, and every time I go on campus, train or something, Jade is always doing extra work. I always see him. That dude works as hard as it gets. He's a monster, physical freak. I think Jade is going to have a very, very special year. I think Jaden Walker and Desmond Stevens, get more comfortable in the scheme. And I talked to Jane Walker actually, and just kind of talking about the relationship they've developed with Eckler already, the linebacker.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big impact. You talk about him too.
Yeah, and they said, listen, they love Coach Ryan and they love playing for Coach Ryan last year. But Coach Ryan's a legend now. He's kind of on the back burner. So I think
I'm not even about to go to him. But
I don't mean any disrespect. He's legend, whatever. But I think with Coach Eckler, he's got that still something to prove. Like
absolutely.
Very technical college football. I really expect to see those linebackers light it up as well. So that's my point. There's guys all over the field still on both sides of the ball, which is why I'm with you. Part of it is I am with you. They got to get to the playoffs. They got to get
– But, there are a lot of people that kind of had concerns, and I'm glad you mentioned about the linebackers. I really believe that they're going to take a leap, and I think, like you said, alluded to, Eckler is going to add that much energy. By the way, Eckler was here in 2013 when Coach Ed Orgeron and all those guys were here at Kiffin, And so I think they're going to take a big-time leap. And I think a lot of people are counting Jaden Walker and Desmond Stevens out. But I really believe that the Eckler, the new energy that's now with this team, I just think they're going to take a leap, and they're going to be better than what they were last year. You feel the same way?
No, I 100% feel the exact same way. And then back to, Jaden Walker. Now, I don't know if it's because I've been away from the guys for a year and a half now, but when I run into some of these guys, like Jaden Walker stood out to me as a guy who's taking that next step already in his physical development. I mean, he looks like he's ready to be an NFL linebacker right now.
Like 6'3"?
Oh, he's tall, 6'3", 6'3", and just exactly what you want in today's linebacker. He's got that build to him, not too tanky. So in talking to him, you can tell when you're talking to somebody how they're feeling just overall about where things are. Yeah. And he really seemed to have that excitement to him about Coach Eckler. And he said, Desmond felt the same way.
Right. Man, so man, we're gonna open up some calls here in just a minute. And I'm gonna put the link in the chat if you guys want to tap in for a minute before we get out of here. But so, man, yeah, we gotta have you back on. So you don't want to do no, you don't want to give a, you don't want to. I think at least 9 games I could see if I just look at the schedule that USC could absolutely win. And I think some of those other games, like in Indiana, and of course the Ohio State and Oregon, even though I think we're gonna win them, those will be some extremely battle-tested games. But when you just look at our schedule, just visually look at it, not go by what the media says, but when B. Shaw looks at that schedule, like, what do you see game by game?
Yeah, I think when I look at the schedule, the biggest thing that stands out to me is kind of those games you mentioned: Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State, and Washington. Correct? Washington was in there as well.
Right.
When I look at those 4, I think anything I would and this is winning the rest of them. So we're looking at those 4 games.
Right.
You got to at minimum split them.
Yeah. I said the same thing.
At minimum split them. So then you're looking at 10-2 or whatever that may be. I just think this is the year where you have to really show that you can physically dominate those big games.
Yeah.
Which they did against Michigan last year. They had good games, but they need to show that consistently. And I think you do that by at least putting it on 2 of those 4 teams. And now obviously we want to win all 4 of those. But
I want to ask you
2-2 in those. I think that's unacceptable.
I feel the same way. How are you feeling about Indiana? Do you think they could repeat that same type of performance that they had this year? Do you think that's possible, or are there a lot of guys that are leaving out? Because when I looked at their roster, I kind of went over their roster earlier. They had a lot of guys that left. And so do you think that same production is going to be there this year? I know it's going to be at Indiana, but how are you feeling about that? Have you been to Indiana? You played there?
Yeah, I played there. It's a pretty wild place. But the thing is with Indiana, we got up on them like 21-0 in the first quarter, and by then they didn't think they were any good. So it was an empty stadium at the end of the first quarter, but it would definitely be different. But to answer your question, I'm not too familiar with what they have. I know some of the portal guys. They got the kid from Michigan State, Marsh, I think, the wide receiver. They got the quarterback from TCU, and I don't think you can discredit what Signetti has done. So I wouldn't count him out.
Right.
With whatever he has coming back. So I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. And then somebody said Wisconsin isn't going to be a cakewalk. Absolutely not. They'll be tough. And I know Fickle, because I know some guys over there as well. He's definitely got something to prove over there.
Yeah, man. I think we're going to have to. It's going to be game by game. I mean, like every other game. But I think USC can absolutely move and groove, man. But for whatever reason, this thing will not connect with Twitter anymore, so everybody can't see everything. But we got about 124 here right now. Usually I'm able to put the link in the chat. But look, if you guys don't have any questions, we're going to get out of here. B. Shaw gave us some absolute nuggets as far as Gary Patterson, those who are coming on, as far as the team, as far as some of the guys he talked with, Jaden Walker, some of the other players. He talked about the toughness as far as what Gary Patterson is already implementing right now, and we both think that that's going to translate to the field. So, look, you guys, if you got any questions, you hit the link. Let us know. If not, we definitely appreciate B. Shaw taking the time out, man. Hey, for those who don't know, too, B. Shaw has got drafted. You were drafted.
Yeah, it's a sign of play.
Yeah, to play. He's playing
lacrosse.
Lacrosse. And by the way, my daughter had a lacrosse scholarship too, man. I told you. I think I tell you.
Yeah, you told me that. It's a great story. It's a little bit of a wild journey, but coming out of high school, I was one of the top recruits for lacrosse, and after football, some teams called and was wondering if I wanted to give it a shot, and lacrosse was definitely a sport that I also really loved, like football, and I just want to compete and go out there and keep active and do my thing. So. Signed with the Boston Cannons. You guys can check out the PLL Boston Cannons, and it starts the end of April, runs through the summer.
Hey, that's a real skill set. I used to take her equipment. She's so tiny, man. I used to have to put her equipment on there. I don't know how. That game is incredible, man. You got to have a real skill set for that.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough game.
It's a tough. People don't even think. They don't even know.
The good thing is, lacrosse is one of those sports where my pops. You know how he is. He started me. at like 3 years old, and I was playing year round. So, and I played all the way up through high school, pretty much year round, even during football. I was, after practice going to play indoors or something. So that's but that is one of the sports where you have to really, really it is a tough sport to pick up.
No doubt. So look, man, we appreciate B. Shaw you tapping in, man. We wanted to get your insights, your intel on what USC is doing, man. And B. Shaw is saying 11-0, 12-0.
Yeah. You could go out there and put me at least 10-2. At least 10-2. I mean, you're definitely putting the boom or bust thing, on me as well. But 10 or 2 at the least, I think.
Here's a question: Which freshman makes the biggest jump this season? I said Luke Wafel.
What about redshirt freshman? So who's all that? Jakeem Stewart, but right?
No, Jakeem didn't redshirt. I don't even think Floyd Boucard redshirted. Redshirt. I'm trying to think right now who all redshirted. Shoot, man, you got me on that too.
Yeah, we lost in the sauce, man.
Red shirt. You know what? I don't know, man. Maybe Ramiro Eisen, wide receiver. He might get some run.
Yeah, some of those young wide receivers are going to get some chances for sure.
RJ Sermon, the quarterback, he may get a little bit of run. So yeah, Tristan Castro, the cornerback, I think he may get some run. So look, there's a lot of guys out there that's absolutely going to move.
Oh, Jay, I meant to ask you this. Did you? I mean, I didn't know this. I was kind of surprised, but and I just wanted to confirm because I still don't know it. So Anthony Lucas declared for the draft?
I think he got invited to the combine.
Did he get invited to the combine?
Yeah, he did because I just did it this morning. As a matter of fact,
I was hoping he was going to come back for another year, but good for him. Good for him. But
he actually got invited to. Let's see. Yeah, he got invited to the combine. I actually did a video on it, and so him. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Cash Jacobson, I did say that. Jaden Ramos, he's a sleeper. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, D. Reddick too. There are quite a bit of redshirt freshmen, man, that I think is going to have an opportunity, man. But true freshmen, I'm just saying Luke Wafel right now and Jamion Winfield. I feel like those two are going to be some incredible freshmen right now. Mark Bowman on offense is, Walker Lyons is gone, Lake McCree's gone. I think those two, that guy is.
And that's the loss that I tell people really hurt me to see leave because was Walker Lyons, because I know what that tight end position, how important that tight end position is in the Big Ten and kind of developing the run and really just presenting an advantage for the offense. So, Bowman's going to have to come in and step up and be that guy who he's kind of, being talked about being. He's going to have to live up to the hype for sure.
We lost quite a bit. We lost not only Lake McCree, we lost Walker. And then you had some other reserve guys like Joey Olsen. I know you were there with Joey Olsen.
Yeah, Joey's a good guy too.
Yeah, so we got the number one tight end from JUCO coming in, Josiah Jefferson. So
I heard about that.
Between him and Walker, I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah, so, we'll figure it out.
So look, B. Shaw, any last thing you want to leave with us, man? Thank you for coming in once again, taking out the time. You gave us some energy, man. I appreciate that.
You know me, man. I love being on here, Jay. I always appreciate you. You've helped me, with everything I've been doing. So you're my guy, man. Anytime you want me to come on here, I'm in. And then I'm in for next season too, for when the season starts.
Hey, every game, man. Hey, B. Shaw, be back. Hey, and tell moms thank you. Hey, moms know I love moms, man. And tell pops as well. Big love for them, man. Moms always be coming through, man. Every time we on live, I really appreciate it. So look, man. Hey, I appreciate you, B. Shaw. Trojan family, we appreciate you, man. We are out of here, man. Until later on. Fight on, fight on.